Tonight we have gathered here to do Sri Shiv Puja. Those people who have a clean heart can only do Shiv Puja. Those whose heart is not clean cannot do Shiv Puja. It's a simple principle of Sri Shivratri. As you had seen yesterday, we have snakes, or these are horrible snakes. Guiding behind the Shivalinga. The significance is this. See, those who are clean in heart, who are full of love for others, are always guarded by the power of Shiva, which are the snakes. It's a symbolic thing to say. Very symbolic. But I must say that animals understand divine force much better than human beings. Much better. Because they have a clean heart. Whatever is their lifestyle built by nature, they carry on with it. But there's no malice, there's no jealousy, there's no all these mean things in their heart. They do it because it is supposed to be. But the quality of human beings is only one, and that is how much they love and forgive. Loving capacity of human beings are such by which they conquer all their negative forces. They can easily see that it's not good to have all these qualities, or maybe that they understand it's not noble to indulge into all these inhuman behavior. They are not bound to indulge into all these things. Neither they are asked to be. But suddenly they get lured by such things which has got hatred, jealousy, and greed. You see how Shiva lives. He lives in the Himalayas. See what clothes he wears, what he eats. He has no demand for anything because he is complete, he is perfect. Such a personality is Shiva's. And if you are worshipping him, you should find out within your heart what sort of feelings you have, what sort of malice you nurture. These days in India, greed has become the main point. They are so mean and so low, which impossible to understand, that they think money is everything, which is not in the culture of Indians. No, no, in no way. But somehow they have picked it up in the foreign countries perhaps, and it is spreading very much now that money is the most important. Think of Shiva. He never thought of money. He never wanted any money. He never wanted to show off himself. There's such a difference between Shiva and Shakti in their whole attitude. Because Shiva is absolutely a liberated personality. He is not bothered. If the people are indulging into wrong things, he'll destroy. Finished. He doesn't want to cure, he doesn't want to improve, nothing of the kind. But for the Shakti it is important. Because this is her child, this universe is her child. All this is created by her. So naturally she is worried, and she doesn't like people who try to take to mean things and nonsense. First of all, it was human beings started indulging in power. They moved from countries to country to empower themselves. Where is that power gone? Finished. Then, after that, what happened with them is that they left their style with others. And now it seems that's very common to see people shamelessly being greedy. For them is the solution is Shiva. All such people will be destroyed. First of all, they will be exposed. And then they will be destroyed. To the last bit of it. Another thing is that Shiva respects a person who has a good character. Person with a good character. And if anyone is bad character or indulges into bad things, Shiva won't spare them. So, the Shakti creates, protects, looks after them, brings them up. But Shiva is sitting there just to destroy. Very important. This destruction is very important. Because Shakti doesn't show those qualities. She may destroy some Rakshasas, but he can destroy nations after nations. First of all, the ego you have, who will destroy that? That too, Shiva. Shiva is in your Sahasrara. He is sitting in the Sahasrara. Now remember, on top of everything. The other day I saw one gentleman from the broadcasting, newsman. He was very, very stupid and was talking very harshly. And I saw his Ekadash coming up. My God, I said, this one is now going to be in trouble. What is Ekadasha is nothing but the 11 powers of Shiva. They build up here and give you all kinds of diseases. The worst of all is cancer. And I knew that this fellow is going to have a very bad time. He is not a Sahajogi. How am I to tell him? How anybody has to tell him? But it comes from this Ekadasha Rudra. Now these are 11 powers of Shiva, very well described. Now these powers start working on people, even on Sahajogis, if they do not follow the principle of Sahaja. He is, I should say, watching you. Every part of your life he watches. How you behave, what you do, what is your dharma. He watches all that. And so many saints have warned you. So many incarnations have warned you. But I tell you, if you don't listen to them, then Shiva is not going to listen. He doesn't listen to anyone. If he is angry, he is angry. Whatever it is, very difficult to convince him that please spare this person, it's all right, forgive. But his basic quality is forgiveness. Can you imagine? His basic quality is forgiveness. But if he doesn't forgive, then you are finished. Up to a point maybe he might forgive, but after that, it's a very, very difficult situation. And I find that people don't realize what Shiva is. In the south we have two types of people, worshippers. One are Shaivites, another Vaishnavites. They are having a big fight with each other. Now it is less, much less. What is the work of Vishnu is to give you realization, emancipation of human being, evolution of human being. But if you fail in your goodness, in your dharma, then Shiva comes in your life. We have to understand, we are all surrounded by their powers. We are all made by their powers. It is the Shakti who is protecting you. But to an extent, she cannot go above Shiva. She cannot cross. These days you find so many people indulging into politics. It's all money-making propositions. They all try to make money. It's no politics. They don't do any good to the whole communities, nowhere. Either under fear or under abandonment. They behave in such a manner that they are not afraid of God. They are not afraid of His own attention on them. Perhaps they don't know that they are under the attention of Shiva. He is watching each and every person. Whether you are Australian, English or Indian. Whatever religion you may follow, He is watching them. This is a thing one has to understand. And once you understand this, you will accept that you have to be good and dharmic people. You have to be good character people. Why people talk of good character? Try to understand. The stupidity these days when people don't believe in it. People are doing all kinds of things, they are drinking, they are playing this money business, all kinds of things they are doing. Without having any fear of the wrath of God. And that wrath comes from Shiva. I would like to warn you all, though you are all my children, be careful. Try to weigh every step that you take. Of course, I am there to support you, to help you, to protect you. But not beyond Shiva. I can't go beyond him. It's such a power of Shiva. It's such a authority of Shiva. And to worship him means to worship goodness in you. The goodness could be compassion, could be love, could be forgiveness, anything. He likes only good people, and he protects only good people. For example, some people are very power oriented. Some are money oriented and some are power oriented. And the power oriented also do it for money sometimes. That's the aim. They'll not stay in search. They'll be displaced. They do it, then come and ask for forgiveness. So much forgive us. We have done it. But try not to do anything of that kind. I, of course, forgive him, but Shiva, he won't. He won't. He'll take you to task. And then you will come to me whether you must save us, and it's very difficult. From his clutches is very difficult. Also, he is a very forgiving person. He forgives you many things. Because of me also he forgives. But after some time, when he takes over, there's no appeal, there's no saving. I do not want to frighten you, but I want to tell you the truth. It is the truth. You have to try to be good people. You have to try to be really good character. I am told some people who are in Sahaja Yogas indulge in money laundering and all that. Also, some of them have very bad characters. They run after girls and they try to look at the girls and all sorts of things. Now, this has ruined the West especially. Also, our Indians are learning from them. As it is, we have to respect ourselves. If we don't respect ourselves and we try to misbehave, I can only help you with your Kundalini. But if you go too much beyond it, Ekadasha Rudra will catch you, no doubt. It's a very big barrier on your forehead. Ekadasha Rudra. And it is so effective nowadays, so much active. All kinds of diseases which are coming nowadays, all incurable, are because of Ekadasha. And also those who are suffering from possessions. The other day I met somebody who was very much caught up. And the Ekadash was working. I found out that he is very fanatically influenced by something. I don't want to name it. But these we have found out are not correct things. In every religion we have people who are spreading nonsensical ideas. Now, if you don't have discretion about it, nobody can help you. You should have a full discretion as to what is right and what is wrong. Then Shiva is with you. But if you indulge into all such nonsensical things, it is self-destructive, I must say. But the self which is destructive is the power of Shiva. What we call the self here is the power of Shiva. He destroys by many things, by many things. You can lose your reputation, you can lose your health, you can lose your wealth. Everything can happen to you till you are completely finished and fact. I've known people on the deathbed also, they're talking about money. What should she get money? How will he get money? And this and that. Instead of talking about God or self-realization, they are talking. It's such a normal thing. But if you see Shiva, he doesn't possess anything. He doesn't want anything. Whatever you give it to him as a samarpan or anything, that he doesn't accept. And he passes on to the Shakti. You do what you want to do. She's the one who's working out everything to benefit you, to make you happy. He's not bothered. In this case, you have to please Shiva. He will not try to please you. You have to go all the way to please him. It's a very difficult personality of Shiva. In the Quran, it's not written separately for Allah or for Shiva, or it's not differentiated. Because the people with whom he had to deal were all uneducated, stupid people. So he didn't give all the details that God is in different forms. So there's only one Allah they know. But they don't know anything that shows the differentiations of their jobs and work. It is the Shakti who loves, I agree. But she too can get angry very much. And once she gets angry, there's no end to it. Now, I have to tell you as Sahajogis that you developed your qualities to please the Shiva. It's too much of hankering, too much of wants. All this is not necessary. Of course, I want you to live well and beautifully, not stupidly, to go into jungles or behave like hippies. That's not the point. The point is, from your heart, the attachment to things must go away. A person who is a Shiv Bhakt, he doesn't care for money. He doesn't know about money. He's a very generous person, extremely. He's just generous. People may say stupid, the way he goes on, the way he works it. But I don't think so. That's not at all the description. The description of a man who is a bhakta of Shiva has no interest in money, is very generous. Anything you ask from that, he'll give. Mahavira was like that. Mahavira had gone for his meditation in his own garden. And Vishnu, as Sri Krishna, came and told him that, see, I have no clothes. You have got this cloth, why don't you give me half of it? He said, all right, you can have. You can have the whole. Because he said, this my house is here, I'll just wear my clothes. What he did was not to show that nudity is a very great thing. But if you see the Jains, what they do, they make big, big statues of Mahavira, showing him completely nude. I mean, this is the perversion of human mind. Why he did it, we should know. He was so detached, so detached. So he gave away the clothes. What is the harm? It was not to show off or anything, but the generosity people don't understand. And the Jainis are the least generous. So, the quality of all these great incarnations also not understood. Because a kind of an illusion is there. For example, Shiva is always with very few clothes. Very few. And what does he eat? No one knows. What is his desires and what does he want? No one knows. A person with great knowledge of music will sing before him, is all right. Or even any madcap comes and sings, he's all right. For him it doesn't matter. He's not meticulous about how the music is and what the notes are, whether it is all right or not. No. He is beyond all these things. He is beyond all these formalities that we have about everything. He is beyond. He is spirituality itself. He is beyond all these things. Whether you are a musician or you are an artist, whatever it is you are, he'll enjoy. He's the enjoyer. And he'll enjoy. Whatever is simple, whatever is given with the heart, he'll enjoy. Whatever is expressed with the heart, he'll enjoy. He is not a conditioned person, that it should be modern, it should be such and such. He is not conditioned. He doesn't think that way. Like human beings will sit down and make a meticulous everything. Does it fit into it or not? Even for art, even for anything that is created out of somebody's heart, they'll try to discourage that person. I've seen people, they have such conditioning. And one thing about Shiva, he has no conditioning of it. Nothing. That's why they call him a Mast Maula. He is not at all conditioned. If you have any conditioning in your mind, then you are not Shiva Bhakta. It's all right. You should dress up well, you should do this. But you should not have conditioning that if you don't do that, then you are being out of caste, out of fashion, out of this. It is very difficult for people not to accept. All kinds of fashions are coming nowadays, all kinds. I tell them, what is this? This is the fashion. Is it some god behind this fashion? Or is there some deity who is telling you these fashions? Today it comes, tomorrow it will disappear. So what I am saying, that if you have to worship Shiva, you should decondition yourself. You are living in the world of Sahasrara. Now somebody is not properly dressed, finished. Somebody is over popularly dressed, finished. The human beings have a capacity to criticize everyone. And to criticize everyone, it is nothing fundamental. Because if you do it on vibrations, one can understand. But not on vibrations. Just because this is not the fashion, that is not the fashion. What is the passion of Shiva? Tell me. Has he any fashions? Anything you give him, he is happy. Whatever you give him, he eats that. He is full of such appreciation because he is personified as joy. He is peace and he is joy. If you are worshippers of Shiva, then you should not have any conditioning of any kind. I mean, normally I also wear simple sarees, very simple. And it happens that people think I am a very poor woman. I am poor. Because I don't care for money. I don't bother. So, we should know that Shiva is the poorest man, purest God. He doesn't wear any alankaras, he doesn't wear anything, just he lives with his own body. Because he is nothing but embodiment of enjoyment. Nothing but complete form of enjoyment and joy. So another quality of Shiv Bhakta should be joy. You should be joyous about everything. Whatever you see, whatever type of person you see. So the only way you can do is give up human quality of criticism. To criticize others. Like if the English go into the Indian house, say we don't like it. That's what? What you don't like? We didn't like the carpet. I don't like it itself is against you. Shakti. Then if supposing an American goes to an English home, he'll say, I don't like it. It's very common. All the people say, I don't like it. I didn't like that. Who are you to say I don't like it or I like it? People don't realize that by saying all these things, you are showing that there's no Shiv principle in it. I can understand somebody who cannot walk or ride. For such a person is allowed to use some sticks or something, allowed. But if he says, I don't like that person because he doesn't use the stick, shows that he is such an egoistical fellow. Himself is using the stick and he wants to create what votes or what in a democratic country that people should walk with the sticks in their hands. It is very difficult. In the West it is very common, you see, to have this kind of a hat, to have this kind of a dress, to wear this kind of a chirut, or all kinds of things have a condition. Nowadays the hairstyle has become very funny with women because they don't put oil in their hair. They will not have any grease in their head. If somebody is going to meet them, they'll wash their hair. I don't think it looks very nice. Of course, I don't say that you need not have so much of oil on your face and ears. But what is so important in life is also, this is another thing, that we are very self-centered. We want to impress people. If I wear a dress or anything, it should impress. I mean, even if it impresses what? If a snake comes along, he'll bite you, whatever dress you might be wearing, whatever country you might be from. All this kind of identification doesn't behove a Shiv Bhakta. A Shiv Bhakta has to be just absolutely lost in the raptures of joy. Very particular about hairdress, very particular about dresses. I don't know what they are particular about. With all that, what do they gain? Nothing. Do they become popular? And this kind of popularity, which is so skin deep, what's the use? Must have respect of your being as not only human beings but as Sahajogis. We are Sahajogis. We are Shiva's Bhakt. We don't care. We are not bothered. Whatever it is, Shiva is there within us, and we shine with that power within us that is of Kundalini. You may be very well dressed, you may be anything. Your vibrations are bad. What's the use? If you cannot judge people by their vibrations, by nonsensical things like their dress and moustaches, is it of any value? In Sahaja, your value system has to be Sahaj. I've seen many people, I don't like their house, I didn't like this. I don't like, if the sentence is Nishiddha, is to be given up by Sahajas. If you don't like anything, you are not a Sahaja. Of course, I mean, if there's somebody who is anti-Sahaj and all that, but still by saying I don't like, what are you going to gain? The waste of energy. Because of this, in Sahaja Yoga I have seen people have created problems for me. So many problems. Only because they are so much self-oriented. This man is bad, that woman is bad, this, that. Sometimes I'm surprised. Because when those people come to me, I'm amazed that they are very nice people. But people are very self-centered also. Like I've seen people who are not bothered to come to meetings, to pujas, because they have got work. Altogether there are 11 pujas. They don't come because they are very busy. At least to one puja you should come. But those who are Shiv Bhaktas only enjoy nothing but pujas. Nothing else. Their whole being is absolutely vibrated with Shiv Puja. To them, that's the most important thing to do. Also, there are people in Sahaja Yoga who are trying to make money out of Sahaja Yoga. Very wrong, very wrong, very wrong. Sahaja Yoga is to give you punyas, to give you blessings. And if that is not in your mind, better give up Sahaja Yoga. You can join some business of something, of malpractices. Very easy, very easy. Till you end up in the jail, you are there. But to enjoy your spiritual powers, you must learn certain things. And one of them is decondition yourself. I don't like it, or I like it. This sentence must go away from your tongue. Likes and dislikes are only for people who have limited vision. You should learn to appreciate. Your power of appreciation will show how spiritually you are endowed. And your power of observation will show what do you observe. For example, some people will come and tell me, I didn't like that lady, she was wearing a funny sari. What is this? I didn't like her because she had put her hand on her head. So what? Because you make your own images of people. And you want everybody to be like that, otherwise you don't like it. Whether you like it or don't like it, nobody is going to change. But why waste your energy? Sometimes there are musicians who are not so good. I remember once I went home and I asked my father, how does this musician sing? He says he's very courageous, very courageous. I said, why? What happened? Well, he sings without bothering about people. And he goes out of tune, sometimes he goes out of tala, doesn't matter. But he sings. He's very courageous, himmat wala. So that's how we used to appreciate and sing. When this fellow started singing, I saw he was like that. But my father was saying, wow, 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 what? And encouraging him. See, I've seen in my father these divine qualities. How he used to tolerate, how he used to, not tolerance also, just appreciation of any kind of thing he used to appreciate. That's what, if the Sahaja Yogis have that condition of appreciation, they'll enjoy everything. Because you kill your enjoyment, do you know that? You are all variety of people here, all variety of dresses, of variety families, and so many of countries you are here. To me, you are nothing but Sahaja Yogis, my children, that's all. No, I don't go on judging you on your dress or on what your hairstyle is. No. All modern things are extremely conditioning. And they condition you so much that you get irresponsible. As Sahaja Yogis, you get irresponsible. Your first and foremost responsibility is Sahaja Yoga. Because you should know what a work it is. So such a great work to transform the whole world, that's my vision. At this old age also I think the same way. Now if that is my vision, what should be your attitude? That we should go all out to spread Sahaja Yoga. That's the main thing. I call you for these pujas just to renovate, I should say, or to give you more of energy and all that. But if you are just taking it as a great blessings and sitting at home, it's of no use. You must spread Sahaja Yoga. I was surprised that they said in Lucknow there are only 200 Sahaja Yogis. How can that be? First time I went to Lucknow, there were at least 3,000 Sahaja Yogis. And we had not fixed any hall or anything. And can you imagine, suddenly I find so many. How is it there can be 200 Sahaja Yogis? Either you are telling lies or you are good enough for nothing. So the responsibility of all the Sahajogis, first and foremost, is to spread Sahaja. How many people have you given realization? Where have you talked about Sahaja? I've seen even in the plane if you are traveling, anyone who is there will tell me, my guru is this, such a great guru, this, that. Openly, shamelessly about horrible gurus. And while you people are very shy to talk about such, never publicly, unless and until you have a program and public program and all that. You have no time also for such. Very busy people. So, if you have to follow Shiva and his blessings all the time, his protection to you, then you have to be Sahajogis of very high quality. Which shows when you go all out to spread Sahaja. That is the thing missing. I am very happy that in Australia, Sahaja Yoga has spread so much. I don't know what has happened. In a far-fetched place like Australia. In the beginning I had some setbacks, but now it has spread. Also in Austria it has spread, and also in Italy. But otherwise, just doesn't spread. What's the matter? The matter is the leaders are not going all out. Say for in England I travel from north to south, east to west in all the directions. We have very poor Sahajogis there. You have to go to universities, to younger people. If hippism can spread, why not Sahaja? It spread like wildfire. Why not Sahaja? All these things are there, which I have to warn you, be careful. If you have got realization, you have a responsibility to give realizations to others and to spread Sahaja. If you can't do it, then God save you. I have nothing to say. You have to introspect. What have I done for Sahaja? What I have got for Sahaja? And I am sure after this Shiv Puja, you will dedicate yourself to Shiv principle within. Shiv principle doesn't stir out. Is very, very stern. It's very powerful. You have to dedicate. And you have to surrender. Above every other job, or every other performance, highest is this. So, with this, I ask Shiva to give you blessings, complete blessings, so that you get transformed into personality of Shiva. May God bless you.